multiple things going on. He is a Gemini, and like all the readers have said, from day one, he is so hard to read. So, starting with these cards that fell out earlier in the reading, we have the government, which is what he was doing to interfere with, on behalf of the emperor, so they could retain their security and comfort. Okay, so going back to the original reading, what I had asked for the reading that I just did was wanting to know about the big picture. Let's look at the big picture and the consequences of all the interference with New York. And that is where I'm going with this alternate reading. And then I said, what happens to Attorney General William Barr down the road? So what you'll see is the story of his interference in New York and then what happens to him. And looking at that reading, several things dawned on me. That Eight of Cups, it represents all of the cases that Bill Barr has shut down, whether it's in SDNY or the EDVA or with the Department of Justice. The Eight of Cups represents everything he has shut down. Okay, so when we look at the big picture in why Bill Barr shut down cases anywhere, but particularly with SDNY, it came at the behest of the moon. For me, the moon represents Xi Jinping. I have done other readings where Bill Barr has taken money from MBS and others, and there's been such a strong theme throughout all of my readings with him that there's an understanding he's getting a massive payoff. He should be as big as one of the wands in the Six Wands mob. He believes that's where he is. It's kind of like his destiny with Donald, that they're going to be on top of the world. And that's why he's fearless. He doesn't care. He's been shown the money, and so he is doing this case in particular. I think this represents one of the cases in particular, but know that shutting down cases did not come from Donald. It came from his higher-ups, this time having to do with Xi Jinping. The Knight of Pentacles. Enter Russia, specifically Sergei Lavrov. Sergei Lavrov, Donald fears. Now it makes sense to me why Donald is so afraid of Lavrov. Because the demand to shut down SDNY cases at the behest of Xi Jinping was also at the behest of Putin. And Lavrov was carrying it out, and all the monies were being paid. I'm wondering, Spirit is saying, yes, that is part of why all those love letters were coming out and going back and forth with Kim Jong-un, because payments had to be made and arranged. But the push to have these cases dismissed were from China and Russia. I mean, doesn't that just put Bill and Donald in a different light in their hysteria in everything that they were doing? They didn't care, because if they didn't, what would the consequences be? And so, the challenge. The Queen of Wands is always my go-to Speaker Pelosi card. This is not Speaker Pelosi. This is presidential nominee Hillary Clinton after she secured the nomination. The reason why China and Russia want this investigation, they want these cases to end, is because Russia and China interfered with our election to such an extent that Donald is terrified because the election was rigged. The interference has been determined. That is probably what's been in the Mueller report. That's what was found out, the determination on exactly how it was accomplished. And Donald fears for his life to not get this done, get this investigations axed, ended, done. Because if they don't, not only is Donald in trouble, but so is China and Russia, and he does not want to disappoint them. This is a massive burden. You see how, so not only did Russia interfere with our election, China did. And if China did, you better bet Israel and the Saudis interfered as well. And if they interfered, they had the hacking done with North Korea and Kim Jong-un. Continuing with the big picture, what's at the base of this reading, what's at the root of this reading? It's Facebook. It's social media. How the interference of the 2016 election all got started. It got started on Facebook. And Mark Zuckerberg is out there. He has not flipped yet. He's been there. People are asking him to flip, but he has a lot of pressure, obviously, because Six Wands Mob are all using the same model, the same data with Rebecca Mercer and Cambridge Analytica, and he's the vehicle for which this is all delivered. So the very base of why Barr needs to end all of these investigations is because whatever happened with Facebook and social media, it's known, it's quantifiable, there's evidence on what they did. The other thing about Mark Zuckerberg as the Seven of Wands, I think somewhere else in this reading, maybe it was the first one, that Rebecca Mercer came up. It could have been Mercer or Kalimnik. Well, the other thing I'm seeing, I wonder if Mark Zuckerberg is supposed to be the one to nab Mercer and get bring all the evidence against Rebecca Mercer and her dad. And that's what's going to do them in. And I think Mark Zuckerberg is richer than them. So actually, it's kind of crazy how much power Mark Zuckerberg holds. Because if we could just get rid of Facebook, their whole operation is dead. Do you understand that? He is like at the very ruling top of this Six Wands mob and what's going on, because he has the tools, the resources, and the ability to carry out things quickly and effortlessly. So what crowns the reading? The Two of Wands. Bill Barr has shown up for me as two wands before, and it's driven me crazy. Now I understand. He was taking the directive on what he had to do. There he is at the top. Hey, I'm Attorney General Barr now. I can take care of this. What do you guys need? That's what's crowning the reading. So, Bill Barr's crowning the reading, taking his orders. Because what happened in the past with that Five Wands is that there was so much chaos from the election, so many unanswered questions, that the investigation was started. And despite the attempts to, fire Comey, have Whitaker installed, Sessions recused, despite all those shortcomings, a resolution was made and somehow Attorney General Bill Barr was installed. And Attorney General Bill Barr came around for a second round to be the AG. He was confirmed. People were excited about it. And there was that golden agreement for him to oversee it all. And how was this move seen, having this agreement with the Attorney General Bill Barr? Well, the recommendation kind of came out of the blue by the GOP, by Republican members, about how perfect of a match this was. And it just seemed so incredibly seamless and flawless. It's like, where had he been all this time? Well, the Republican Party was in a very difficult situation and probably had their little spies up with SDNY, probably knew somewhere within the Mueller report with investigations that this was too close for comfort, and the GOP needed to be protected just as badly as did China and Russia. So again, the GOP, stealth, quiet. Who would have thought? So remember, Bill Barr had his hearings. This was after the shutdown. So we were already in retreat mode. Four Swords. Retreating, waiting. And it was like nothing could progress. And after the government was reopened, then so much hinged on Attorney General Bill Barr being sworn in, and that was in February. So there was this long period of time where we were kind of in a lull from the shutdown to swearing him in. It's kind of nauseating to look back at that period in time when so many people were hurting so badly and the government was shut down. And the Republican Party really didn't speak out that much because they knew they needed Attorney General William Barr because the Democrats flipped the House and Speaker Pelosi was now in power. They could not start 2019 without a plan and without someone in place. And so now that Bill Barr was made the Attorney General, and then they could reopen the government. Think about that. Think about how long our government was shut down. And I truly believe it's because they had to shut down the Mueller investigation and had no solution to do so. I think Bill Barr wrote, did he not write that op-ed during the winter? And then before you knew it, he was in, hey, you're hired, right? And so the hope was with Attorney General Bill Barr was installed was that they could cover up the Three of Swords and their treason. That was a hope. Do you understand? It's not just Trump that needs to be impeached, or Bill Barr, or his entire cabinet. It's the entire flipping Republican Party that let us be shut down for so long because they're all implicated in the Mueller report, minus maybe 4 Republicans who voted against Trump for saying racist comments. This was a coup, a multinational coup in cahoots with the Republican Party. That is my opinion, and until it is proven otherwise, that is fact to me, because that's what all the cards, that's what all the research is, that all the dots come back to that. And their biggest fear was the true star, Robert Mueller. They feared his report and his findings. That still is their biggest fear. While today, the Republicans again letting Donald go on his racist tirade and pitting his base against 4 Democratic congressional women. They're the ones who are paying the price right now. And the Republican Party and the base are totally fine by that. This is such a Kremlin-y op. This is so Putin-y. They're not even hiding it anymore. And in my readings, Donald had this new plan Sunday. And so the ideal was with that 3 of Wands was that after they shut down Mueller was that they could tell their 6 Wands mob allies, it's down and it's done. Let's get on to the 2020 election. And so the Mueller report was stopped. This is the big picture. This is the big story. And what's to come is the tower. The tower is represented by the planet Mars, aggression. Today, Mars is at 10 degrees Leo. It is conjunct the midheaven from the new moon eclipse in Cancer. 10 degrees is Donald's Pluto, destruction. It seems to me that Mars has finally landed on Donald's destructive, obsessive force. We are in the end game, you guys. This is the end. And this is how it all ends. They're all caught. And right now, they are fighting for their lives to do, say whatever they can to obstruct, delay, confuse, and blame. It's as anti-American as it gets. And so that's how it ends, my friends. For Bill Barr, a big, giant tower moment strikes by Mars. I have looked at William Barr's day of birth. I don't know a chart for him. But I do know that Mars and Uranus right now and the transit of Neptune are given him increasingly with each passing month. Just devastating potential for his circulatory system, his heart. There's just something not right about his health with the chart, with these long-standing transits. And so he might have to walk away, but I just don't really see him around for a long time. I don't know. That's just my opinion. It's just what I see in the charts. And from this spread here, I want to know what happened. And it's just like this little blip, this little blurb about what happens to him. But then the end of the story is the Six Wands mob you see right there. The shared celebration by Trump, Putin, Un, Xi, Netanyahu, and MBS are front and center again with a tower and treason. They're not going to get away with it. That's the good news. We have to be patient. There are so many twists and turns, and with the legal system, what is the quote? The wheels of justice grind slowly, but they do. Justice does move forward. We're getting through the worst of it right now, you guys. So have faith. And thank you so much for being with me. I can't believe I have over 3,000 subscribers today. That is insane. It's wonderful. I've loved this short journey we've been on so far. And I'm looking forward to that much more. I'm really looking forward to August, actually, like probably midway through August, so I can get back to normalcy and get back to all of you guys and all your emails. I'm getting there. Okay? Thank you so much.